Okay, I just realized the audio is desynced for the first 16 minutes. Basically what happened was last night I started recording, and apparently for some reason my OBS's audio, like the Switch audio, is desynced. Everything else was fine. Like my voice was like, you know, on time with when things are happening and stuff like that. But for some reason, the actual Switch audio desynced, and I find it super distracting looking back at, like, you know, that, because I've seen that before. Basically, yeah, that just happens. I stop at like 3:04 or something to go VOD with Storm, but I'm just gonna go basically until 3:04 again. It was around 16 minutes. I think this is an important part. I haven't looked back at what I said, but I kind of remember what I was talking about, and I'm gonna make sure I elaborate on it like I did before as well. I might look back after and also include some edited notes into it, but should be around 16 minutes hopefully. Same thing. Okay. Anyway, I basically just say that we're gonna go over the zones one first, and then both tower games, and then after the rain. So this will first be the zones game. We're gonna look at this. A lot of this, and I sum it up pretty well, I think, at the end, the very end of the VOD. And you'll see what I mean when we go into this. But the first big thing is just how we play for this top mid at the start. So you'll notice, we go through this here, right? Grub is left. I really like Grub being left here. I mentioned that in the other part. Like, this is a very solid spot for Grub. It's where I go to pop Crab, and it's solid for the same exact reason why Grub is going there right now. This is a very good spot for us. The only thing we really mess up on is how we take top mid so early. We take it super early here, and because of that, we just get punished, right? So basically my criteria for whether or not we should be taking top mid here against a paintbrush, like specifically like a comp like this, with another comp maybe, you know, that has a back, it's not as important that all these criteria are met as long as you're still being safe about it. But with, like, especially a paintbrush comp that is going to just be doing this type of stuff where they're controlling top mid a lot because that's where paintbrush excels, like, it's going to be very tough for them to do too much on the lanes with this sort of comp. But top mid, they are going to like they just need to kind of exploit that, right? And so we need to be expecting that. I mentioned when we first started playing that we needed to bomb it out. We did not bomb it out enough. That's okay. Like, I still expected us to make this mistake, I guess. Board, like, throws a torp here. That is good, board. Honestly, throw another one, though, right? Like, we can't really go top mid until the top mid player is down. That's the main thing here, you'll see. Same with Geo. Like, Geo, you could very easily be throwing bombs top mid for tent. You don't need to contest this so early. But because we go for this so early, because we're so used to playing against, like, a normal team comp, you know, that will let us do this. When we do try to do the same thing, we get caught off, right? Because that's exactly what they're playing for. That's what they want. And then because of that, right, then Grub also gets picked off because we don't have a solid like, control of our box. And that's a reoccurring issue you'll see later on in this game. But for Grub to go here, we basically need to have a little bit of our side of top mid still held, and we do that by being alive. And we also do that by just painting around Grub, having someone in front of Grub, basically, right? Specifically looking for that paintbrush going top mid. Okay, so board makes some good plays here. Like, these are really good solo plays to just make sure we get this. All of this is great from board. We get back in. Automol has a really risky jump for no reason. This is a horrible jump, but that's okay, because we have part of this back. Okay, so going from here on, you'll notice a pattern, and that is that we look front almost never. We're basically never looking at box, and that is my big issue with this whole map. I'll talk about it more later in the VOD, but this entire section, like, we just do not look at box enough. I will help you guys understand why it's an issue here. So basically, going to here, right, where Grub is right now, Grub is in a great spot. I really like this spot. This spot is good because it looks at box, right? Like Grub is threatening anyone who tries to take positions around box. So what does that mean for us? That means it's time to move to box. Like that's our cue. We have Cooler, we have Grub in a good spot, right? Now is our time to go threaten this tent and go pick off this paintbrush like we do here. We get the paintbrush, we just do not follow through. There is no extra play going to box other than like Geo looking at it sometimes. Board is going for a solo flank. This is okay. Like what Board goes for here is it makes sense. Board, you do make a bit of a habit of doing this. Like I don't think you should always be going from this right side. But it can't just be Geo going here. It also has to be Autumnal or like some other player, right? We just do not have enough people going for this mid control, okay? Because think about it this way. I make a really good point here where if we all go for this zone like we're doing right now, Board, Grub, even Grub decides to look at the zone instead of like left, right, where Geo is. If we all go for this zone here, when we dive in, like look at Autumnal's position right now, right? If Autumnal wants to get back to their team, what do they have to do? They have to go through box exactly where the rest of the enemy team is, okay? And that's an issue because we've basically cut off all support we have from our team other than like the Charger here, okay? Because Autumnal is here, Autumnal has no way to back up unless Autumnal forces some fights with some players that are just not good. Like see now how Autumnal has to just kind of play for this zone, and when they try to back up here, boom, it's over. They die. Which is what makes this so bad. We need to make sure our front, the only way that they can get in is from this ramp. We need to make sure it is covered. We do that by just playing there. That's all we have to do. Just play retake from this ramp. A lot more. Like board is fine for doing the right side thing, but that should be done basically solo. Like if you're trying to follow up with what Board is doing, you do it from box, right? You do it from where Board is right now, basically, and go straight through middle, straight through to right zone, basically. You do not drop. And you don't play from snipe / circle, whatever you want to call it. Only Grub should really be there, and Grub should be looking at Board not all the time. You know, it should be looking more towards box here. But look at like even here, right? Even here, notice how we go for top mid. We still don't even have our side covered yet. We still haven't even completely gone for box, okay? And sure, like we're gonna have this strong push for right zone, right? Because we all dive for it. But then after that, what's the follow-up? We don't have a follow-up. And why do we not have a follow-up? Because we haven't even taken all of box yet. And this left area, okay? So a lot of this just comes down, this entire thing just comes down to us not properly clearing it. Autumnal has a bad stamp here. This is really bad. And not much else to say about that. Grub is in a really good spot, but again, because we're not clearing anything forward, like Board, you could be torping this. We don't know that anyone's here. And so Meat Boy 13 gets in, and we get a trade for it, but it's not a good trade because Grub is down. Oh, and then, right, one more thing here. Board, you use slider for right zone. We've already made it very clear that right zone is kind of the easier zone, or not kind of, it is the easier zone to get, especially for your team, right, with a Charger. If you're using slider specifically for a zone like this, use it for left zone. Don't use it for right. That should help you guys a little with the space problem too. I go through, oh my god, I'm going through things really quickly compared to, like, it literally took me double the time here, first time watching this back in the VOD, but, and I'm going really fast right now. It'll slow down for the next part of this, once we get to 304 and the VOD changes to the original thing. But yeah, I mean, basically, like, we just need to play for top left a little more. Grub, or for far left a little more, once we get this middle section down. Grub, you could even play off of like how you did opening, right? Like if you're left side, that's pretty good. You just really have to be careful about that paintbrush. Sometimes you might have to go like the uninkable right to your left. It just kind of depends, but like you could, if you see that your team is maybe having trouble like specifically holding the left zone, you could probably go there. Because you are a little back right now. It's just kind of has to be one or the other, right? It's either left or right. But yeah, other than that, like notice how again we go to top mid without getting a pick, without even knowing where they are, right? Like if they're all playing sides, sure, go top mid. Especially if we see that the paintbrush is sides, you know, like the tent is also sides, like let's go top mid then, you know. But in this sort of scenario, like basically because Geo goes down here and tries to fight top mid so quickly without even having it like actually pressured out, Autumnal also dies for it. This stamp is also really bad again. But there's more to this. Like if you want to clear top mid here, you do it with stamp. Like if you want to do it as quickly as Geo wants to, you do it with stamp. But we don't do that, so. Okay. I think me from a couple hours ago will probably sum up the rest of this pretty well. So I don't think there's too much else for me to say. I like really quickly like went through this just because I've already watched it and I remember what I kind of said, but the key points here are just like, you know, we need to be playing more for this box and we need to be careful about top mid, and that's a lot of it. Like you guys aren't losing too many of your fights, especially the fights towards your side, but that's only on the fights you're winning are the fights you have control over, basically. Like pin control over. Is there anything else I want to say about this position other than that? Like, yeah, I think we just keep ignoring left side a little too much. That's basically it. Yeah. Okay. I will let... Again, this was just re-recorded because the audio was... It was, like, messed up in the first 16 minutes of it. So I'm just re-recording this part to kind of fix it. This time it's only been 11 minutes, so I was talking pretty fast and stuff, but I just wanted to get this done with. That way I could upload it because the video is already going to be like an hour 40 or something like that. But yeah, now it'll just go back to the regular recording, the second section of it, so you'll have that. So yeah. See you guys. Hope the rest of the VOD goes well. Bye. Okay, we're back. It is the next day because we were VODing for like, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And yeah, so, but I remember where we left off. But it was like 1:30 a.m. when I stopped, so. We're going to 304. Probably best to just skip there. I'll go back a tiny bit. I forget exactly what I was talking about when I stopped, but I'll probably have a pretty good idea once I see it. Okay, right, so I was talking about how this box is super important. Notice how Grub is in the same spot as last time, right? Let's see if we can do this differently. Okay, we actually do it a bit differently. This time we take a bit more of box. We're still all really focused on right zone, which I don't like too much. Okay, and I also don't like that we go top mid without killing anyone again. So, again, my problem here is that we go top mid without like legitimately clearing it. Like, yes, we have the strikes there. That's gonna move them for a bit, right? But we haven't looked at this left side at all. Like, other than the one strike that landed far left, we haven't looked at left side at all. And so our first entry into it is a really aggressive peak. Like, Gio, look at the peak you're making, right? Anyone under there is going to be able to kill you. Meat Boy 13 in question, who's been waiting for this moment his entire life, is now going to see you and get the kill. Autumnal going there makes a little more sense because of hammer. I think it's not the worst idea. However, that hammer could have easily also been used to clear left. So it's like, okay. The thing is, though, we just don't have enough space on left. And I don't think that's any single person's problem. Like, I think a lot of us can do things differently here to fix the situation. Grub, how do I say this? So remember on your opening, right? You went far left. I kind of like the idea of you going far left again. That's only if someone is going to be playing in front of you, though. You can't just go there, you know, in like this scenario right here. Like, someone has to just slowly paint out this, and paint out a little bit of top mid too. That way they don't rush you. But like, while you're striking here, that's not a bad idea to, like, you know, move left because they're strikes, right? Other than that, I would just stay snipe though if you don't want to do that. This is a really risky spot for you because you're putting all your money on on your team winning top mid here, basically, to hold this spot. And they don't do that, which is why you get cut off, right? And then the rest of us get cleaned up. We get a great kill on the tent that lets us through, and one more push. No one's looking front. Yeah, this is my issue right here. So I really don't like how little we look right in front of us at where box is and stuff like that. The enemy's only entry into your side here, right, is through this little ramp, this tiny little ramp. That's all they got. So where are they gonna come from? They're gonna come from the ramp. And we see it right here, right? Like, why is no one in front of Grub? Or even just to like the right side. Like no one is even actively trying to clear right. We're all diving for this zone here, and I really don't like that. And I explained why earlier, right? If you want to back up, your only backup option is through the same exact way that your enemies are going to be pushing from. And if they have that, then you have no backup route. So yeah, I think your guys' retake here is really bad, and it can be fixed. I think we just have to, in general, play a little more for this box. It's really important. I wish we saw them retake, but we never held for that long, so. But it would have been cool to see how they retake. Oh. Okay. That is game 1 done. I don't know how long it took. Oops, I did not mean to pin that. Okay. Right, we're gonna go to tower ship shape now, and then the other tower game. So in this game I had mentioned that we needed to be using a special for top left. I actually think you guys had some pretty good pushes here, all things considered. It was mainly the defense that I had issues with, but we'll get into it. Okay, so starting off, I had also mentioned that this mid-right wall, the one Meat Boy 13 is climbing right now, this needs to be watched. This is the most important part of this whole setup, is that mid-right wall. Why? Because that's their only entry. Again, that's the only entry into where Grub is playing, basically, because the wall is up for the right side, right? 10 has to back up. The only entry they have to kill Grub right now is through that wall. And where do they go? Through that wall. And then that's why Grub gets picked off here, at least I'm pretty sure. Okay, there's more reasons why Grub gets picked off here. Hold on. We can go back to this full thing. So again, right? Again, before we get into any of this, their comp is Paintbrush, Clash, Slider, Dread, whatever, and Tent, okay? Where is the Paintbrush going to be playing? More often than not on the high ground. The left side, you'll see. The right side, you'll also see. What does that mean for us? It means that anywhere under, especially when the Paintbrush is alive or we don't know where they are, if we're retaking, this right pit is pretty deadly. And same with this right side in general is pretty deadly, although we're going to have to push through there, so we just can't really retake it solo. That's not going to be a possibility. And then also when you're pushing but don't have all of mid, this left mid wall is also going to be really deadly against the Paintbrush. For those reasons, like that's just kind of where Paintbrush is going to be positioned. We'll probably see what I'm talking about, but even just to start, you can see how the Paintbrush is top left. It's because it's good for their strengths, their weapon strengths. So we have to watch out for that. Okay, so to begin with, what we can do better here, right, is we already talked about how we were going to be setting up Grub for this top right spot, right? Geo is doing a great job of that because Geo's fighting the tent. This is great. As for the rest of the team, you guys should be doing something else. I would say no one or not everyone has to be focused on setting up grub, right? But it would be very nice for at least one of us to watch this right wall at the very start, just so that Meat Boy 13 does not get like the freest climb ever. You know what I mean? Like by the time Autumn gets there, Meat Boy 13's up. That's my issue here. And then also, board, like I had just discussed, we can't be contesting this top left like this, at least so quick, because we have no idea where the paintbrush is. If you knew that the paintbrush was like right or something, then sure, go ahead. But because we don't know where the paintbrush is, they're likely in this upper left spot, because they're in neutral. And you can see that they didn't take the top left, but they did take through middle, which is basically the same thing. And because of that, you get caught off. Or because of that, we actually let them through into Autumnal, who isn't really overextending, but because we will let them through is technically overextending. So yeah, I would just again, who is it? Board, you can throw torps at the start. Don't worry too much about having like instant pressure onto them in terms of like, you know, main weapon. Like you can throw torps on the left side here, even on the right side to like discourage the clash from moving in. Any sort of poking power is really helpful at the start. Other than that, board, I don't think there's too much for you to do here. I do like that you are sharking. I don't like how you go for the play though instantly, because of that reason that I had talked about. Like I think it's a little unnecessary to be pushing so quick, is what I'm saying. Because we need to find this paintbrush before we do anything else. The paintbrush needs to basically go down, or we need to at least know where they are, and we don't know either of those things by the time we're moving forward. And I think that's why a lot of this falls apart, is because like one, grub is set up, yes, but not on the right side as well, like, you know, because clash can just get through, and because of that, now 3 of us have to look at this clash instead of only 1, which would have been Autumnal, right? Or just board with the torp, either one. And because 3 of us are looking at the clash and board is going forward, the paintbrush gets in, kills Autumnal. Obviously, Grub and Geo have to back up because Meat Boy 13 was able to climb the wall. And board has to come back to try to salvage anything. But Slider, it gets a pretty ridiculous double, I can't lie. So, yeah, we have to settle with that. I think they played that really well, though. Like, they're from their end, right? Like, if we look at it from their end, I think their end, they're basically just looking for you guys to make mistakes up front in like middle and just be able to punish it with like, you know, raw like fighting power, I guess, and then just play off that. But yeah, they did it really well. Like the tent knowing that they had to just like disengage, the clash knowing that, okay, wait, tent is distracting, right? So let me go up. The paintbrush also following up with that. Like they played this really well. Okay, so now that we've seen that, we're on defense mode now. This is the second most crucial part of this whole game, I'd say. How we play this. We have coolers, Zuka comes out. Board, I would say again, you need to be throwing a couple more torps because we don't know where this paint is. Maybe there was a call here about where they were. But either way, it's not enough. Good suction to tower. They moved through this really quick. Let's talk about this. Okay, so let's start with Grub. Grub, your positioning is a really big part of this. I think here's the thing, right? I do like you going top left like this, or not top left, top right like this. My issue though is that we get like really far down. Notice how 3 of us go down super quickly, right? Because of that, the enemy is in really quick. right? Like by the time we respawn, the first check is like halfway through. And by the time we can actually set up to a position, like now, by the time most of us can set up to a position, the first check is already over. And where does tower go after that? Tower goes directly left, okay? So by the time that you get to that position, the tower is going, like, look at your position right now, right? The tower is moving away from you by the time you get there. And what that means is that, yes, it's really important that we focus on this right side, but I don't think you need to be the one to do it. I think, if anything, you and Autumnal need to swap places, except Autumnal should be down on the like ground. But I think you two need to swap places because it is super important that we have a really good setup going into like the 30 mark here. I don't know if you guys have noticed, ship-shaped tower, one team is almost like guaranteed to KO because this map is so snowbally. If we need to like almost always basically just be playing to stop the KO on this map because the map is horrendous. Horrendous for trying to defend, I guess, is what I'm saying. And the only way to defend really well and make sure we get it is by setting up super early for the position that the tower is going to be going to, which is the left side. Grub, if you're there early, you have a lot of sightline onto anyone moving into plat, or not plat, like your side of mid, I guess, right where tower's going. And it's super important that we also keep the right side at the same time, which is why I understand you going here. I think you going here makes a lot of sense. But like look at how you get caught off here, right? You do a really good job of defending the right side, but now tower's moving, so you have to go in. And see how your position is now, it's now like in danger because like the clash can just go under. The pain flanked you. I mean, you know? But notice what is still defended, right? What's still defended is the top left. Which is why, and by the time they stop, or the rest of your team stops the push, it's at 26, right? The tower was still moving towards you. So that's just why I say, like, you can put a wall here and just, like, sit, and it's really nice. It should honestly be up to the rest of your team to hold plat in a scenario like this. Now, I will say, if you do not die before they push tower, Grub, like, if you're backing up instead, before they even, like, get tower to the first check, I am perfectly okay with you sitting on the right side. That makes a lot of sense because you're backing up. You're not respawning. But because your team went 3 down, like, they are guaranteed to get a lot of points here, right? And that's why we need to set up for the left side. Okay. And then next up, so going off that, I wanted to talk about how, actually I already mentioned it. Board, like I said, you just need to throw some torps here because we need to find this paintbrush. That should be like top priority whenever we get back from respawn. Is like, okay, where's the paintbrush? That's always going to be the first thing. Or that's what should always be the first thing. Autumnal has some really nice mists here. But, I mean, special usage, we have to just be playing on this left side, I'd say. But, like, let's go off of how we actually defend this, right? So Grub gets picked off because of the positioning. Autumnal has a really nice bubble to set up, make sure we stop this, and that's great. Geo, I really like how you go up and get another angle, a separate angle on the clash. That's a very good move, right? Most players around your level are probably just going to be straight up running at the clash in the same direction Autumnal is. And that is super good that you were able to find this off angle here to kill this clash quicker. Like, this is very strong. Right? Great. Okay. And then we go through. I think slider slider specifically to contest the one player, the paintbrush, is maybe a little questionable. Like, I could see if you were guaranteed to kill the paintbrush here board, I can see why you would do that. But I don't, like, once we torp them, we know where they are. We're still in a 1v4 here, 1v3 really. It seems like you just really want to initiate, which I can understand, right? Because you want to get this paintbrush down so they don't jump or anything like that. I just think you need to save the slider and tell your team to focus the paintbrush right. Based off of our positioning there, I don't even know if we knew that the paintbrush was there, but board, you can just keep like torping from behind them. It's not going to do too much until your teammates are there, but it'll stall, which is kind of what you need. Because no matter what here, I think you're going to be fighting a second time just to get mid, because they have beacons up. So we can take it a little slower. Okay, but going from this spot, right, War tries to back up. Wow, barely makes it out. That's good. Grub is super overextended here. But I mean, we make some stuff out of it. Okay. Grub's still pretty overextended. I like that you're going for the spot, I'd say. Grub, the problem is, again, no, like, think of the start, right? It's almost the same with Umami, actually. If we don't watch the right wall, or we don't have someone watching that by the time you're there, Grub, you're not gonna live very long. Like, that's the problem. We need to make sure that someone's there. If you want a little more security, you could place like a wall there to make sure that we have a better chance. But I think it's just it's a little risky to go for this so early. I like the position, but not at the time, right? Because like if we go back to when you first take that position, right? Let's look at what's going on. We can see where your team is and stuff. Like you're the furthest one up, Grub. You see that? So yeah, I think it's just a little early. Even here too, like you're pretty early to this. We're just like recovering from that fight, grabbing cooler and stuff, and you are a little too far forward. Paintbrush picks you off because of it. Okay. Let's go back now that we know that. Okay. So we strike here. We have 3 looking right. This is great. Pushing tower is really risky. You get punished for it. I don't think we need to focus tower too much here, right? So when we go for this, notice how we have, like, we struck there, right? We struck the left, but we still don't have much space there. And that's because mid is also still controlled by them. I think we need to clear out a lot more of this before we start moving tower. What do I mean by that? I mean like taking left, right? In this case, right here, let me show you. The pain is down right here. Hold on. We pick off pain. Now is the perfect time for us to be moving left. Not just Geo, not just Ford, not just Autonol. Like 1 or 2 of us contest left. The safest way to do that is from the grates. The grates will give us a good view of like what's going on. Like Autonol could go there, and then we could just have someone else follow up from mid, or at least look at what's going on middle first a little more before we tap this tower. Like let's look at your perspective here, Geo. When you cooler here, you have view on the paintbrush. You don't see anyone else, yet there's 4 people alive. 3 now, right? So going for this tower from this perspective, like where could they possibly be? Either top left or middle. And where are they? They're top left and middle. So that's why you get picked off. Just a little too quick for tower. We need to clear a little more space before we do that. Bubble comes out. I like this bubble. It stops some momentum. Paintbrush is bottom. We are really separate. And they pick us off pretty quick. Okay, we'll go over this too. So, Autonol wants to hold this. I don't have a problem with holding this. I do have a problem with us Man, I have a problem with us being so separate, but I don't see a way for us to really fix this. Because, like, I think Geo still thinks the paintbrush is left. From what it looks like. Yeah, the paintbrush just kind of gets in. I don't know. I don't think there's too much to say about this because we just kind of missed the paintbrush going right. Like Autumnal's bubble is a little isolated and we can't help. And they also have slider at the same time, so it's just kind of it's kind of awkward for us here. It definitely would help if Geo did notice that the paintbrush went right though, because then board would probably live. But yeah, I don't think I have too much to say about this. We just kind of get wiped. Mostly, like, I think we're not really playing too much for the same spot, right? Like, let's look at this. Like, sure, Autumnal's bubble here is good, right? Like, this is a solid bubble to stop the momentum, but it's only good if we're all kind of committed to playing off of it, I'd say, and we have a little more space, so... But because we're like behind when Autumnal pops the bubble, it's pretty awkward for us because we try to like help out the fight, but we just can't. And so we all go down for it. And Grub, this is another situation where it's another like niche scenario, I guess, where 3 of your teammates are down, and so you have to make the decision whether, okay, I'm just going to rotate left because my team is down, or if I'm going to defend tower. I want you on the right side like this when 1 tower has not broken the first check yet, and 2, if you are not the only player up, basically. But if your team is getting wiped, like completely wiped, and it's just you, or if tower has already broken the first check and they're basically guaranteed to make it to the left side, you should just rotate left. Those are like the 2 scenarios though, like combined, or the 2 exceptions to that rule, I guess. But otherwise you should be going left most of the time, because you just get picked off because, you know, it's a 1v4. What is there for you to do? But this time they have top left, so it's looking really bad for us. I think there's a lot more to say about how board takes the fights against the paintbrush. Board, you're fighting the paintbrush a lot, and that's not really your fault. The paintbrush wants to fight you. My issue though is again like how we fight it. You are using your torp here, which is great. It's just that the torp is super quick. Like you see the torp here. Like, we need to not fight this. Like, I know that there's basically no way to avoid this other than like maybe climbing the wall, but we need to make sure that this doesn't happen. Like, we just cannot let the paintbrush in if we want to hold this. Their only entry currently, and the only thing that they can do, is push through front, where this curling comes from, which is why I would just say, like, you have to be really careful about how you position here against the pain. If anything, you could even go for like a flank or something like that. Like, that would probably be more useful than trying to fight the paintbrush one-on-one like this. Even if, you know, like, the rest of your team will have a better time dealing with paintbrush a lot of the time. Because they can at least kind of space it out. Although it's still just like a very difficult weapon for your team comp to deal with. So like this whole comp for them is really good. But Grub going right here makes sense. because we have to. At this point, like, you should definitely not be left. Or gets a trade. Autumn. See how like Autumnal kind of takes this flank. Like, this is basically what I would want you to do, board. Now, granted, Autumn is not in, like, like, we are completely... Autumn is basically forced to take this flank. I don't know why bro is going top right. That doesn't really make sense to me, but okay. But he takes the long route around. The thing about that is, board, you could be faster than Autumn, right? So, if anyone's flanking, it should be you. But we somehow managed to stop them. Like, I'll take it. Bubble gets popped here. This is a complete waste of a bubble. But I guess that's okay. Whoa, what the lag? Okay, let's go to this fight now. We have another really important fight. Board should be looking at the tent. That tent should die a lot quicker. Slider comes out. Great. I'm cool with that. We cleaned it up. And where do we expect Paintbrush to be? We do torp it. That's great. At least I think we do. Do we? I swear I saw some torps. But again, right? It's only Paintbrush, and where do they happen to be setting up? The top left. Why are they the top left? Because it's the best spot for their main weapon. So we have to be extremely careful about how we push this. Like, we are just asking to die. And we do. And that stalls our push a lot. Like, we had a lot of momentum going into that, and it's just dropped. All of it. From one player. From one play. Okay. I like these picks, though. Board, in general here, I like you fighting anyone but the Paintbrush, right? Because anyone but the Paintbrush is going to... Like, you're going to have a decent fighting chance against them, I'd say. But, like, against Paintbrush, the only thing you can really do is torp. And that's the only thing you should be really doing. Unless they're looking at someone else. If they're looking at someone else, then, you know, dive a different angle. But notice how those fights went well for you. They went well for you for two reasons. One, because your team had some extra like, external pressure on them. And two, because you're not fighting the Paintbrush. You're fighting someone else, and you're doing great. So yeah, anytime you can, just kind of avoid fighting the Paintbrush, or torp them, stall them, whatever. As long as we know where the Paintbrush is, I'd say it's like a positive for us. Like, even if you're basically doing nothing, you're just torping. Knowing where the Paintbrush is will, I think, benefit the team a lot. Like, you don't have to always be fighting someone else or anything. As long as we have something going for us and we know where this Paintbrush is, that's huge. Okay. Now, I was thinking about this a lot. I saw this first push and I was like, shoot. We aren't getting to 3 or 2 or whatever, you know, we aren't getting to 1 with this. And I think that still is correct. However, we managed to do it because of their mistakes here. So we can talk about it a bit. The first thing I really like about this is that we have someone on the left side. I think that's great. This is really, like, you guys have a strong positioning here. My issue, though, is that we have to deal with, like, probably the best pairing of weapons you could possibly have to hold top right, I guess, right, with Paintbrush and stuff. Which makes this extremely difficult, and we need to be very careful about how we do it. So we should be looking at this a lot. First off, board baiting them into the slider like this is amazing. This is really good. Why does this work? It works because 1, you have slider. 2, you bait them into a spot for you, which is really good. Let's go back and watch. And 3, you're just dragging attention here, right? So not only are you just behind them, tent looks you, and what is it? Paintbrush looks at you, right? What does this mean for us? This means now board is taking a 1v2 that, sure, you know, they might not win, but they're dragging attention. And what does that give us? An opportunity to go top right, which I love. This is great. And then the slider here getting 2 is just like, it's like the cherry on top. So this is great. The only issue I have here is that we are not looking top right nearly enough. We have the bomb there, and that's about it. Now, board is still going to do a really good job of dealing with this, but this is basically all board here. Like, obviously Grub has to back up, and that makes sense. Grub, there is a spot that not a lot of people think of. I'll show you it right here when you back up. Okay, hear me out. You shouldn't be using this spot always, right? But you see these grates here? These grates let you pick off anyone like behind the pillow or anything like that. Sometimes it depends exactly where they are positioned. Like there's still some sight lines that they can avoid, but they basically have to stand in very specific spots to avoid your shots if you're on these grates. So hold on, let me go back just a little more. When you back up here, consider backing up to grates first. The spot you stand in isn't like that bad. I do kind of like it. But just think of this grates option as well, right? Like you obviously cannot go to tower here, you know that. You could back up to grates, get a good spot going, and yeah. The thing is, your team cleans it up really well though, so you don't really need to move. But just if we need a longer push, right? Like if we're not behind them, consider the spot. Stuff like that. Okay, and then let's go to this. This is the final, like, most crucial part of this whole thing when we push here. We execute everything perfectly. Like, board is playing really well here. This is great. This is great. Strikes are a little wasted. I do like that we strike forward, though. I think that makes a lot of sense. This is perfect. Everything about this is perfect up until this point. What happens here is Autumnal sits, and the only person fighting currently, even Geo sits, right? Everyone's sitting here except for board. The only person fighting here is board, and that is not okay. That is not how we can do this. Why? Because we are basically just giving them an opportunity to move in here, right? With board being the only person fighting, we're not holding the space forward. We're just letting them take the space. So like, see how two of us are on tower? Autumnal has not even like stepped forward, taken a shot or anything, right? And so by the time Autumnal takes a shot, this dread is in position to stop us on tower. Like, you know, we threw away everything we have here. I'm not even too sure why, but like we can look at this from Autumnal's perspective too. But it's more than just them, right? So like we look this and then we just sit here. I do like the mist, but we're still just sitting here. And by the time this happens, this is like really bad. So let's go back. We're gonna go through every person's perspective except for Grub, I think, because Grub can stay tower. If we don't want another option though is because we have the time, everyone just wiped, right? Grub is really far back for this, so probably not. But Grub, you could maybe even go top right. But not in this case. In this case, Grub needs to go tower. Geo, you should be crossing over to left side here. I know you're going for Cooler, but Cooler is not important. Like, it's all or nothing here for us, basically, and we need to make sure we get it. Like, the best thing to use Cooler for right now, which I think is pretty shocking, is probably just for, like, an ink tank refill after throwing a bunch of bombs onto their side. But yeah, this is really badly executed because the only person front is board, and board is trying to take an angle behind them, which means that they can just walk forward. Like, look at how they walk forward here, right? But yeah, I don't think this is one player's fault. I think it's still all of your guys' fault here, except for like Grub, who should be on tower. But yeah, ideally we're just plat here. We're plat. Autumnal pushes up a little more, or at least looks there, like mists the right side to make sure that they don't just like climb up, you know, something like that. Because we can avoid this first miss probably because they're all going like left, and then Autumnal looks left to something that they can't even like actually pressure. So it's just like, yeah, it's bad. But yeah, Autumnal can push up, or at least like paint forward a little more, and like make sure that this dread doesn't get in. Board, I do like the angle you're taking on them. Like you're guaranteed to get some kills here. Basically, my only issue is that because no one else is with you, it means that you just gave up your space on plat basically without them having to fight you. If you had played where the tent is basically right now, or like, you know, maybe a little left, you could easily have stopped this tent from getting in, and then also killed the paintbrush for whatever kills they dove for. But yeah, you don't even really play for that. You play for like behind them, which I really don't like because you just kind of give it to them. You let them move through. Maybe you just weren't expecting that. Watch it one more time through, just so you can see the whole thing, and then we will continue on. Like, basically, the only good thing about this play is the second miss. That's, like, the only thing good, but it doesn't even stop him. So, yeah. We throw it away here, but it's okay. Because we get another opportunity. We're jumping in too much here. Grub gets a good pick. And we're back. Okay, so we have one more chance here at this exact same thing. Let's see how it goes. First off, this time we lose the left side. We have a bit of time here. Autumnal goes for a really aggressive bubble, but we pick off the tent, I'm assuming. We do pick off the tent here. Yep, nice. Okay. And this is something I really like too. I like that Grub is on this left side. Great pick there. Super good. We live Zuka as well. Like, everything is right here. This is good. Grub, it is your time to rotate away though. Right? Your team is all stacking tower. Why? Because one, they need to cross the right, but two, because no one else is going to take tower. Like, no, they're destined, or their like designated tower taker is not there. Why? Because you are in a good spot, but you can only stay that good spot for so long. Like, you get the picks you need here, you just go back, because you're not gonna hold this spot, right? But yeah, this is rough. Okay, so that's the first thing here. Like, Rob, you are in the craziest spot I think I've ever seen a charger play on this map ever. Okay, and then we haven't dealt with Clash either. I noticed that. The Torp is good here. I think we Torp again, though, as we climb up. Slider is a little wasted, too. I can't lie. Board, you 1v2 that. And then you Slider this. Slidering this would be... Oh my god, that would be so huge. Look at how they're stacked here. Imagine this, right? Imagine this. Think about it this way. You just saw how they dove the tower, right? You just saw how they dove the tower at 3. What are they going to do again? They're going to dive the tower at 3. They have to, right? If you Slider from up here on this ramp after 1v2ing this Clash, you just win. You literally just win. Look at this. We get the Clash. Like, you take the opposite side of the pillow. You kill Clash. Even if Geo dies, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because you just Slider tower and it's over. It's GG's. Even if Grub is in this crazy spot, like, you guys win here, I think, if you Slider tower. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it though. That's all I got. But yeah, we burn Slider. I mean, we're not in the best positions to like push that, you know. I think it was a little fast for us, and that's a lot of the reason why we were not expecting to like all end up where we ended up, I guess. But I think just recognizing that, okay, last 5 points or so, right? These guys have to dive tower, so what should we be setting up for them diving tower, right? And what does that mean? That means we need to secure top right. We need to make sure the space in front of tower is watched. That way, when they do try to dive it, we can just kill them immediately. The person on tower also needs to be aware of that, right? Whether it's just like, okay, even though they're gonna dive tower, I'm gonna stick on tower because we are so close to getting lead here, and I'm gonna risk it. Or whether, okay, they're gonna dive tower, maybe I need to back up for a second or throw some bombs in front of me, whatever, put a wall up, whatever it is. But recognizing that they're gonna dive tower here because they literally have to. And then making sure that when we do have that position on top left, that we hold it, right? We can't just go behind him if we're not gonna also follow up on that space. But that's not really Board's fault that Board is like trying to take an off angle. Although I think it does become a bit of Board's problem when Board is like all the way behind them. Because then, you know, you're just kind of giving it to him because you're not even looking tower really at that time. I think something like that would have been a better play if tower was at like 20, right? If you're flanking, like that one time actually, right? When you were down here with the Slider taking attention, like that's good. Why is that good? Because your team doesn't need to just push tower immediately. But when you're that close to KOing, like your team just needs to push tower. Right. And everything up to there, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter too much. The last part of it, the overtime. Okay. Right. We didn't want to do the rain. We were gonna do this first, and then. So this is the same thing, right? I'm gonna be skipping through a lot of this game because I think this game it's gonna be a lot of the same sort of principles, but we'll talk about it. See if anything changes. I wasn't even really watching this game live, I think, so I haven't seen like any of it. Let's see. Okay, so first up, we take I think we take much better positions here. I really like this. This is a lot better. Geo, you look towards the right here at the start. Like, look at this. See? You catch them off. You should have killed them, but that's okay. At least you stop them from actually going there, right? Board has a really nice pick on tower. That's great. We get the other person behind there. We now know that right is clear. It's just Dread. And boom! There we go. And that's exactly how we win that. That's great. Really good start to this. Board gets a great shark pick. The follow-up is a little sketchy. I like these shark picks though from you, Board. This makes a lot of sense, right? Like you're just trying to extend your like, you know, play here. Something you can do, right, is a lot of the times I think at this level you'll find that there aren't always like your pushes won't always be stopped by a single like swoop or single force. Like it's a lot more about individual play from the defender's side, right? Which means that people will go for things like this. You see how like these guys are they're basically just trying to dive tower to stop this check, right? Like that's their goal here by entering so fast. You picking them off like this is great. But then you get a little greedy, but I don't think you know it. Like I think they're like a ninja squid or something. So at least we find out that they're there, right? And we can kind of play off this bucket pick. Autumn's bubble here is wasted, but we get some great picks. This is all great. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with that too. That's fantastic. We bait the roller. And this is great. This is really good. Like, this is the strongest I've ever seen you guys play on this map so far. Out of the, like, 3 games I've watched of you guys playing it. But this is, like, super solid. Okay. It does fall apart here. Why does it fall apart here? Let's talk about it. So, the first thing I notice is Grub, you're on tower, but 4 of them are top right. I really don't like that. Right? Like here, what's the issue? The issue is you're going to die, Grub. That's the issue. We can't have you dying. When they're all top right like this, you are in like the risk. You're more in a more risky spot than Board is right now, right? Someone let that sink in. Sorry. Okay. But yeah, that's bad. That is very bad. I think if you want to play a different spot, like you can play where you were playing that last ship-shape game that we watched. Or again, the right side, the greats, even box maybe, even this box where the cooler is. Any of those spots would probably be really nice for you. We have to like Board. I don't know if you're calling it out. I wasn't like too focused on what we were doing with the call out wise, but like we call out we're flanking here, and that just basically means okay, we need to kind of wait, right? Automo has a really good mist here, which stops them, and that's just about as much pressure as we can put on top right now until Board gets the flank. What else can we do though? We can bomb where the mist is. So Geo, if you bomb where the mist is, there's no one going to be contesting Board. No one at all. Right? Because like they literally cannot even move towards there because 1 mist, 2 bomb, right? They're not going to be able to attack Board until Board is up top on like where they're standing, right? And what does that mean? That means we can get Slider off there. Okay. But yeah, like I think this goes poorly mostly because of Grub's positioning and how quickly we're trying to just get top right. Like I think that's just kind of it. Like Board has a really nice flank, but we just don't make good use of it. Plus they end up getting Board anyway. Why do they Board? I think I wanna go back one more time and look at this. I think there's only one thing I have to say about this, and it's that we're shooting the slider here. Okay, so when you shoot the slider like this, you are dragging more attention on yourself, right? You have slider. You should be playing for slider for top left because they're all clumped there. So just go as quickly as you can up to there and just slider. But when you shoot like this, like the enemy can see like paint stuff, right? Like, why is that green? Oh, it's because an enemy's behind us, you know? And that's, I think, most of the reason why the roller comes out and picks you here. Like, no torp or anything needed. You just go. I think that'll benefit you a lot. You can maybe still get that slider off in a good spot. Low battery. Okay. We'll be fine. Okay, so here's great. Grub, why does this right position work? It works because one, your teammates are back around the same time you are, right? They're there. Two, the tower hasn't pushed towards their check yet. Like, you're doing great. This is good. Really good time to take top right. And we get all of it back because we do so. It's fantastic. So far, you guys are looking really strong here. We don't know where the roller is. It's a little concerning. Okay. Okay. I see. I see the issue. So let's go back here. We don't make roller out to be as big of a problem as it actually is. Like, at most, only one of us is really looking at this roller at all, even after they make their presence known. That's not really our fault because, you know, the rest of the team is pushing. But here is where it becomes our fault. When after this happens, right, Autumnal knows, or should know at least, that the roller is bottom left. It doesn't look like they know, I'm going to be honest, but like there should be some sort of call that the roller is left and that we need to look at. Like here again, they make their presence known, right? What does that mean for us? That means that they are there, they're going for a kill. And they hold this because board you dive. Here's a great opportunity board for you to make another off-angle play. If you go, notice where the roller's playing, right? The roller's playing for this left corner. Like, let's go from your perspective here, right? You kill this. You see the curling. You know, like Autumnal probably, hopefully, just called the roller top left. You dive right. You dive right. Go behind them. And just drag their attention. You don't even have to fight them. You just drag their attention. Because no matter what, when they have that bubble there, I know you don't know that they have bubble. But with the roller top left, like, we're risking a lot here. Actually, wait, well, they do actually have bubble for a bit before they pop it. But you're going for a really risky play that I don't think is needed. I think you can go behind them and take attention, you know. And if you're not taking attention, then that means that you can go up and fight them. But yeah, I would say just drop left there because your team is already going to be fighting it. Fighting the roller front. Okay. Our bubble here is interesting. Asking to be slidered, but it's not really too much of a problem as long as we recognize that. We didn't, though. Or at least board did. I don't hate top right for grub here. I think this is okay. You have strikes to extend it. Board gets another great pick on the bucket. Board gets another great pick on the other bucket. And board cleans it up. Nice board. I don't have too much to say about this defense. I think you guys do it pretty well. I mean, it is just kind of bored, but but you're all playing your parts in this. I want to look over it one more time. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really say is we gotta find a way to live that pack. Like, 2 of us go down here to this pack, it's just unnecessary. I can see maybe 1, but like, it's just kind of rough. We can't be going 2 down like this if we want to retake. And they have pack for a while too, right? So it's not like outlandish to think that they're gonna pack for this left side here. And slider too. So okay, Geo, it's because they have these specials, right? They have 2 specials. Going straight through the middle is super risky. Not even just because of pack, but because of slider, right? Like, if you're in that middle spot and slider comes out, there's nowhere for you to move. That's my only issue with this. Geo, I think you know that you need to bomb tower. You're just kind of doing it from the wrong spot. Like, you're both painting for space, and it looks like you want to get something to like bomb tower. The issue with that though is you can do the same thing that you are doing right now, or that you were doing right now, from a better position, which is, it's honestly either top left or top right. I think top left is a little better, but you can go either way here, and do the same exact thing you're doing, but in a safer spot. And having more range for bombing tower is nice, because you'll be up on the high ground, right? You can throw your bomb a little further. So I think you're just playing in a really risky spot. This middle spot, like, you should almost never be retaking here, because it's just kind of meh, you know? Like, the team has to, the enemy team has to put special output somewhere, and it's going to be towards this left side. If you're on the low ground, like, it's kind of difficult. So I don't think you set yourself up too well here. We get nice strikes, and yeah, that's the end of that. Okay. Grub. Next time we want to be looking for left side though. Okay. So I have another issue here. Board, you don't settle. So you get some great picks here, right? Fantastic picks on the 3 of the enemy, as we see right here. After this though, you don't settle. You keep going. Notice how you instantly go to, I mean, you don't, actually in this case you don't even look like you want to fight. It just looks like you get caught off guard by the bucket who's respawning. But you can't go down here. This is a really important part, to not go down, because we need you and your slider for this next part, which is getting back to 19. But yeah, the bucket just kind of comes out and kills you, so it's difficult. I really do like that you are taking space board, but don't try to fight. 1, don't try to fight. 2, make sure you're looking in front of you, so you know if, you know, the enemy team is just rushing you. But taking space is okay. Like, imagine slider here, or even like before this, like slider would be super good for making sure we get this top left area. But yeah, it kind of falls apart because we lose a lot of that momentum that board had, I'd say. What else? Yeah, okay, so when these specials come out, Grub, you rotate. Do you do that? You do. Nice. Good, that's great. Huge rotate. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was beautiful. That was fantastic. Okay. So how do we bring this back, right? We have a lot of momentum going into this again. We are looking right, though. Okay. Okay. We're a little quick to left. I like that we're taking space here. But it gets to, there's an extent to it, right? So if we're all on left here and they take right like this, this is just bad. Like, this is just objectively bad. We stop this by not all being left here. We don't all need to be left here. Think about it this way, right? Let's think about this. So if we have 1 person left, assume that person is, maybe it's Autumnal. Autumnal probably has the best chance of holding left, right? if we put Autumnal left, hold on, right. Okay, the cooler's also a little far forward, I just noticed. If we, you see how Autumnal's left here, right? Geo notices here, I hope, that they're dropping right. Geo should call that they have dropped to right side, right? This right here is basically an indication that, okay, wait, they're going to play for mid. They're not going to play so much for left, right? What does that mean for us? That means we only need like one person left max, okay? Autumnal could hold this space. Now, if like multiple go and try to push Autumnal just backs up, right? Autumnal already has all the space left, which means that it's going to take time for purple here to move in to then try and kill Autumnal. Like, it's not, if Autumnal wants to stall it out, Autumnal can, right? Which means that we're going to hold at least part of this top left as long as one of us stays there. Only one of us needs to stay there. The problem here is everyone starts playing for this left side, even though we see like 2-3 of them go right. You know, like, this is just bad. But we only need one here. Autumnal has the miss to stall them. Like, we don't need more than one. And bubble too, honestly. Like, even if they slider for that, as long as we have this right side, we make sure grub is set up, like, it's not a problem. The problem does come, though, when we just do not expect them to be right side, even after they push this right. Like, let's look at this from, like, Geo's perspective. Let's go back just a tiny bit. Let's see how many people we spot going right. Like, I like this. All this is fine, right? You're taking the space. Okay, we gotta see where they're coming from, though, right? Cooler's a little aggressive here. We see the one left. We see the curling bomb right. We see shots from the far right. Buckets middle. Right? We see the squid roll there. Like, it's time to look right. They are playing a lot more towards right than we think. It's hard to notice, but it is definitely something that has to be noticed, right? When we see only one person left, like, that is a huge indication, like, uh-oh, something's wrong. But we should be able to tell just from calls from, like, Grub or whoever else that they are pushing right. Like, let's look at this from, like, Grub's perspective. Oh, wow, Grub is far back. I didn't know this. Okay. We see the one right here. Like, Grub needs to be calling. And probably is. But yeah, this is not good because we just get caught up. And they're just in. Which is kind of crazy, I can't lie. And we'll look at this from Board's perspective too, because I think all of you guys should be playing a little more for right when we see this. Like, let's see what Board sees here. Great space taking. This is all fine. Yeah, Board has probably the best view here, right? Notice how there's one left plat. Oh, yeah, bucket comes in. We did, remember that we did see the person right? So, like, where are they? They're probably still right. You know? And they just get in. Yeah, okay. I don't think there's too much to say other than we gotta watch all of our angles. Like, that's just it. Watch our angles, remember our calls, and see where they're pushing from. Because based on that, that's how we need to adapt. Now, you probably aren't going to see many teams going that right side very often, which is why I think this caught you guys off guard a lot. But it's still something we have to watch out for, you know? We have to be flexible about how we position and stuff based off where the enemy team goes, and that is a very good example of why. Is there anything else I have to say about that? Actually, yes, there is something I have to say about that, okay? I'm not going to go back. You can go back, though, into the VOD, and you will see that basically every single time, at least one or two of them is pushing from mid when you guys start pushing tower. Every single time. The first time, Board was the one fighting it. It was the roller and the bucket. Board got the bucket. The roller was still opening from mid, though. And there's patterns to these teams, right? So, like, this team, for example, they played a lot for this corridor when you guys had tower by, like, where first check is, okay? And now they never actually, like, full pushed right? But we can kind of tell because of the patterns, like, okay, wait, these guys like to just play from middle instead of caring too much about top left. Like, okay, what does that mean for us? It means that we're probably gonna need some more pressure on right when we go for these tower pushes. And there especially was one of the times, like, just based off of the patterns like that. It's something we got to think about, right? Where do these guys like to defend from? Where do they like to push from? All that stuff. Okay. Let's go back because I just talked a lot. We're gonna go back to this final hold, I guess, and we'll sum it up there. Let's see. So all this, like, okay, we die for it, right? Grub should be setting up top left. We know that. We're doing a whole lot of nothing right now. Okay. I'm gonna charge my controller. I think we're a little too desperate for tower here. We'll go back and watch this one more time. So tower has to get to 19, which is where the checkpoint is. The problem with strikes here is that it's not really affecting anyone on their team, Grub. Like, let me look at what you're talking about, or what I'm talking about here. When you play this far back, you're playing for strike, right? That's your whole goal here, Grub, is strike. And I'm not opposed to this because top left is a little risky right now. You get a great pick too, right? You are just a little early. Like, that's all I really have to say about this, right? Because you're early with these strikes, your team fights when they just shouldn't be, basically. Let's look at this one more time, just one more time from the top-down view. When you strike here, you're only striking tower, but tower isn't in the checkpoint. Tower's not in, like, a really enclosed space where the enemy team is, like, forced to move somewhere, right? The tower is still in this really open area in mid, and because of that, when your strikes come out, like, look how the roller just plays around it, right? The bucket just plays around it. Everyone just plays around it. It's not that big of a deal. Now, it is still a threat, but it's not nearly as much of a threat as strikes would be if they came down while tower was in, like, the corridor by check. And I think a lot of our fight goes wrong because these strikes are mistimed, right? So, like, even here, imagine striking when they're all tower and we're trying to hold left and we just strike this, like, the tower now, right? Like, they can't do anything. They have to either move back or they have to force themselves forward into your teammates. Which is why I think you should just be holding strikes a little longer. Like, basically call that when you see this, it's like, okay, wait, we have time, right? 19 is tough to get to. Especially after getting that first pick that you get. Wait. Further back. After getting this first pick you get, like, tell them to hold top left. And as soon as you see that pack go out, that's when you strike the hell out of them. But yeah, this first pick is great. But just the strikes are early. Now, you're not doing much other than waiting here, so I actually wouldn't be opposed to you, like, dropping down here anyway, putting a wall up and getting a couple more shots on the tower first. That would probably also get you a pick on roller. Like, the thing is, we're playing in a bit of an awkward spot anyway, but I could definitely see, like, you just kind of dropping here. Like, first shoot bubble a little more, right? Like, we want to shred bubble first. I think that's more of a threat, because if bucket jumps back in there, then, you know, our pick on bucket was useless, basically. Two, that'll also help you with his roller, which you see later, right? You just barely don't get a shot off. But yeah, you're just forcing your team to kind of fight when they shouldn't be, is what I'm thinking here. And then yeah, you get caught off. But yeah, we strike them here. I think we'll have a much better chance. I don't really have too much to say about the defense from everyone else. Like, I think we're kind of setting up for something. It's just like, because the strikes were really early, we go for something that we can't really go for at the time. Like, it doesn't do enough for us. Or as much as it can do, I guess. Let's look at this one more time from everyone else's perspective. Yeah, like you see how just board kind of goes in. Like Geo dies, okay. But even Autumnal is like trying to fight tower in front when like we don't need to be right now. Is what I'm saying. Alright, I don't think there's too much else to say about this. Like, there's not much you guys can do here. I do like that we do play a bit of right side, but yeah, there's not much. Okay, yeah. Alright. We got one more map. Rain, is it? I forget what it is. It's Crab Leg. Oh god. Let's go. This will be an interesting one. I don't know when the last time I looked at this map was. Maybe even never. Is this? This is the team you just faced. They're playing Paintbrush too? Oh my god. Paintbrush is like the new Octobrush. In this sort of way. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about a bit of this. Like, this team is playing a lot more aggressive this game, and because of that, Grub, you're in kind of a weak spot here. Your spot is bad because of the paintbrush and the bucket. Like, they have really easy ways of picking you off here. Now they don't, but they get you to move, which is what they need, right? Like, look at this. So their entire team is basically now going to collapse on like where board is and the top part because you're moved now, right? If you played the top left, you're not going to be moved, not nearly as easily, right? They're going to need like specials or something else to move you. But because you get moved here so quick, like the brush has a chance, right? And the pack comes out. Like, this should work for them. It doesn't because we still like we respond well. But it's definitely very risky just to begin with. Because Grub, you're forced to move here at the start. Nice crab. We need to deal with this guy right though. I don't like how long this Brella is living. Ooh, okay. Let's look at this. We take good space, I'd say. Yeah, this is all pretty good. I think we're grabbing rain maybe a little early too. Grub, you have the time to kind of shoot a couple more shots on the Brella, I'd say. Or just like anyone you really want. Us grabbing rain here is a little risky, right? Think about it this way: when we grab rain, while they're still up, and still playing middle, like how they are here, like we're giving them an opportunity to stop our momentum that we just got, and that's exactly what they do here. But yeah, that's all I really got to say about this. I mean, our fights are really, we're not really looking at the same thing too, which is also part of the reason why the rain goes down. You know, like it shouldn't just be Geo looking at this Brella. Like, if we dealt with this Brella quicker as well, more of us could be looking front, is what I'm thinking. So like, because this paintbrush is down right now, we have the opportunity to just like peek this Brella, kill them real quick, which is what we should be doing. And then go for any other stragglers and then pick up rain. But yeah, it's just like, it's a bit of a mess here. Like, you guys don't seem too coordinated, I'd say. I'll look at this one more time and then I'm just gonna move on. Yeah, I just think everyone's a little all over the place. Autumn should not be there anymore. Good, we jump. Gio's a little aggressive here. We have a Zuka. Zuka gets a good pick. Gio can play front now. Should have been a good angle. I mean, okay. Let's talk about this actually a little. Gio, I like this from you. This is good. Let's look at this from your perspective. So, what you do here is you basically just enable your teammates, which is really nice. I like basically everything about how you play here, right? Because even if you do die, like think about it this way, like your team is winning this interaction. Not even because of the slider, but also because Autumnal's coming in too. Like you just do a good job of making sure that your team wins the fight because you're also like part of that fight, right? So that's good. This is good. This is a lot of the reason why we'll take back mid. Crab is not needed here. Crab's used on one guy. And then the zip comes out anyway, yeah. Okay. See this stuff like this is awkward because like yes, crab is not needed here, but you guys get picks because they like try to make something off the crab. Like that's a mistake from them though. Following a mistake by you guys. Like I think crab on this map is super good. Which is why you're running it, right? But it's only super good if we use it in the spots where it's super good, which is when we've like after breaking check, like you know, we move through right, stuff like that. It's not good, or it's not when it's not used properly like this. It gives openings for the enemy team. Or not even that, it makes your pushes weaker, right? So like going into this push now, we don't have crab, and getting check is going to be a lot harder as well. So let's talk about this, right? Like now we don't have the crab to just simply force out the Brella, right? And so to come in here, we use Zuka too, but just die for it, you know? And we burned a lot more resources and a lot more time than I think we were expecting to break this check because of that. Pack comes out, this Brella's still alive, you know? All this stuff just because we burned crab a little early. Let's talk about this a little more though. Like what can we do from here, right? After we do use our crab. So why is this Brella able to get away with this, right? The Brella's able to get away with this because we're all forced to push this one angle. And they hold it really well. So either A, we need to burn Zuka for this much earlier than we do. Like by the time Autumnal pops Zuka here, there's two people looking at him, not even just one, right? Or B, we need to take a separate angle. Like someone needs to walk up or swim up from the side or something, which can again only really be Autumnal. The Brella plays this really well, though. I'll say that. And board flanking saves this. Like, board your flanks are really good here. You know you can't fight the paintbrush. I really like that. We're, again, pretty fast to taking rain. Like, we just can't be taking rain yet. Especially when they're all on the check. If you're taking rain here, it's to go the other check. You know, while they're all right. Like let's even look back at that. Yeah, it's not even really possible to do it, but like you could maybe dive left for check if you really wanted to because they're all right. Not really something you'd be going for though, practically. At least not in that situation. But going for rain there is too aggressive too, I think. Okay, and again, like we kind of give it to him here. Grub, you play again really aggressively, and you get picked for it. Like I just don't think you're expecting them to really fight back too hard, but they are. Right, like when you drop here, you give away your position, and you're dead now. See how quickly you died after you dropped? Zuka saves us here a bit, and they're just like throwing right now actively, but. We get something off of it, which is nice. Board gets trade with the paintbrush. And again, we just need to kind of look right here. We're a little too focused on rain, so we get picked off by the bucket. And okay, I mean, we're still stopping rain. Like, this is okay. We just need to find something off of it with like a special. I like that we're looking this bucket like that. That's perfect. Yep, this is all fine. I like this. We should be looking to help board, though. Not so much rain. Rain is not as important as I think we're making it out to be right now. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, we don't need to instantly pop the Rainmaker or instantly, like, you know, look at rain. Especially if the enemies aren't close by it. Like, we just use a slider in mid specifically to, like, keep this going and extend this. And yet we're all kind of clumped by the rain and not doing too much to help board. Now, board's slider is really fast, and I remember board saying that, like, she miscalculated it. And I agree. It could be used better. But we should at least still be, like, trying to follow up with that. I guess, you know, not so much focus on rain. Okay. And then here... This is just really rough. Like, we should go back and look at this. I'm not even too sure what happens here. So... Ah, I see. Okay. So, we don't see the umbrella flanking, which is a little odd to me. Hey, look at this. How does this happen? Okay, board, you're so close to crab, you can just play for crab on right. You have crab here. We gotta go back one more time. I think that the timing is a little unlucky with umbrella and stuff, which happens. Wow. That umbrella timing is interesting. I gotta look at this one more time from top down because what? Yeah, Grub, your only issue here is you're not looking front when you do this. Like, you're not looking at what is going on and what they're trying to do. You're fully focused on getting this crab up in the spot you want, which is a good spot for crab. But, like, see how you go for this left side, you don't, like, look at what's in front of you too well, and that's why the umbrella gets up. It's honestly pretty ridiculous that they get that, and it's not really your fault that you don't see it, but I think we can do stuff to be more careful of it, I guess. But okay, I mean, like, this is still not, it's not the worst. They've gotten to 39, we can still get something here. I don't know why I'm still watching. We gotta go back. I'm still watching from Grub's perspective. Like, we cleared this out really well here. After this. Nice, nice. Perfect. Okay. Cooler's up and everything, too. Okay, from what I've seen, I don't like how fast we try to play for check while Grub is flanking. If Grub is flanking, like, we need to not dive for this check. It needs to be one or the other, right? Either we're all going for this check and, like, board is, well, why did I say Grub flanking? I don't know if I did. If board is flanking, we cannot be going for this check so quick. And I think that's a lot of the reason why you're falling, why we fall here, is because is because there's two separate ideas going on. So Grub with Rain wants to be going for this check as quickly as possible, right? We want to break it after getting that wipe. Board, on the other hand, though, wants to flank, and the only way to get a successful flank off with us still all being alive is if we play this slow, and we just don't play it slow. So one of the two needs to be changed. Either board should be going for the flank, right? And we play with, like, we don't even play for check until board is literally like killing them behind, basically, right? Like, we just stay mid, kind of. Maybe even go for the left check, honestly. If board sees it's all clear, like, maybe we just go left, you know? Either that needs to happen, or board should be sharking, like, near this. You see, like, the red thing in the middle? Like right under there, to catch anyone off guard who just tries to dive, or even just playing for the check as well. One of the two needs to change, but we can't have both. Not in this scenario. So the ideas need to be properly communicated, right? If board wants to go for a flank, we play for that flank. But if like Grub wants to go for this check and we just all want to be here, like, that's what we need to do, one or the other. But we execute both ideas, and because of that, like, sure, board is a flank, right? Board's probably gonna get some picks here, but it doesn't matter because Rain is down. So yeah, and that's our whole push summed up. Like, that's literally it. One idea, not two. I think we're also really, we're really quick to try to respond to this too. So let's look at this, right? Every single time so far, they have pushed from the right, okay? Again, another pattern to look up, or to look at. Every single time they go for something, they go for it from the right, okay? Every single one of us here opens on this left side. And we're also, like, Grub, you jump in, but you're just, like, you're middle, right? And that's too far up because of this bucket. But notice how we all go left side, like, we're focusing this bucket. Sure, they just get in. They're just behind us. Someone needs to jump out or something. We're all just dead here. And that's game. Nothing else more to say about that other than that, though. Like, it's just kind of a Rainmaker moment. Because, like, especially because this right side is something that they have shown that they want to play, right? We need to be setting up for this right side a little better. Like, if Autumnal backs up here, it should be from the right. But yeah, we're not really playing for right in general, so that's it. That's all of it. That's all we got. 4 games. Is there anything else I want to say? I want to say good job, Loink. You guys did pretty well. Pretty good. And we should sum up some ideas here. I talked about most of the Umami game yesterday, so I don't remember everything I said. I do remember that I said that the most important things I said were we need to be playing a lot more for the box and against a comp like this, right? Which benefits so much from having top, the top mid. We need to be very careful about how we play around top, especially going for a pick before we even go for top to begin with, and even then being careful a lot about that. Like, Grub should maybe be trying to set up left, or at least not putting all the like pressure on right in general, like with zone, right? Stuff like that. Is there anything else? Even board too, like board, I understand why you're going right sometimes in that zone. I think it can work, but if you make a pattern out of it, right? If you're doing it every single time, like, not the best. So yeah, try to mix it up too. And I think box is really important for you guys, and it's not something you guys were looking at too much. The ship shape games will sum up together. The ship shape games, you guys, I mean, you guys had very strong pushes against both these teams. It's just kind of that, against, at least in this game, you didn't really know how to end it. right? Like we knew how to get to 3. We did a really good job of doing that. But then after that, we threw it all away because we didn't expect them to come back at us so quickly. But that's exactly what they had to do. This game, your guys' offense is a little worse, although you guys still got a pretty good push, I'd say, to 19. And then your defense struggled a lot because we just tried to fight the tower a little earlier than we had to. As well as we were not expecting them to go right, even though they did make a habit of at least a couple players going right. It's something to be careful of, and because of that, they got a really good play off of it. They played that really well there, though. This rain game, we had 2 separate ideas both times we tried to push, where, you know, board went left and we went right, but we were both trying to execute both things at the same time. It's not possible. And because of that, our pushes were really weak. Anything else I have to say about that? Oh, and then some of our crabs and some of our Zukas were also pretty weak too, I'd say. Or just not necessary, you know? Like, we want to be setting up those crabs in really powerful spots to make sure that we break through these checks and things like that, and, you know, push far. Especially on the greats, we decide to go for the great path, and we just don't really do that. Grub, you play pretty aggressive this game. Like 7 deaths for you is a little much, especially when they knock out this game, right? You play a little safer here, I think you can get a lot more done as well. I know I said in the opening, like, you should be going left, at least a team with this type of, like, weaponry. I don't have a problem with you going right either on opening. It's just we do need to be a little more careful. I do like how you went right, though, as, like, the default every time they pushed right. Like, that was good. Except for the final time. Like, you jumped in left and then they KO'd, you know? So you probably just stick right if the team is making a habit of going right. That's maybe the overall thing, right? Is, like, a lot of these teams, like, look at their comps, right? Their comps they're built off of certain things, like with the paintbrush here. You're losing to, like, paintbrush and, like, tent, right? Like, they're specifically trying to get this paintbrush in. They're going for really aggressive plays. Same with this team with the like, both the roller and the paintbrush. Like, they're both going for the same thing here, and that's to kind of just enable the paintbrush to get picks and like, use, like, powerful specials to move you guys away. And they do that really well when we just let them, right? Like, we don't respect, like, the paintbrush, or we don't respect their specials, whether that be vac slide or whatever the hell it is, right? And I think you guys are going down a little more often than you need to stuff like that. Like, I think some of that can be fixed as well. And yeah, that's all I got. See you guys. I'll see you guys today, I guess. And yeah.